Well, you've been a heel before.
I love being a heel.
What's a bigger heel than being a Bond villain, right?
Yeah, there's no bigger heel. And it's and the nature of this character, because it is such a throwback character, so it makes it more special. It makes it more significant, and I think people, they're either going to make that connection or they will if you educate them. Because I think a lot of the younger fans had not seen the older James Bond fans or old films. They're not familiar with Oddjob or Jaws, so they won't get it. They go back and watch, which I think this, hoping this will open some eyes, and they will go back and watch. They'll really get a whole new appreciation for it.
Well, you tell a story in the ring without using words, and in this film, you deliver one line. Yeah. How similar is that?
It was, it's very similar, and I guess it was one of our announcers. He always said that you make your money here.
Which announcer?
Jim Ross. Yeah, Jim Ross. He said,
"Good old
make
JR.
your money here, man. You make good old JR, man. You make your money here." And I always, I took that very seriously. You really do. You tell a story and you speak without speaking. So it's something I was kind of good at, but I think that's the reason I got the job. But it was also, it still even required more than I thought it was going to take. Still a lot of direction. And it was not so much because, of my ability to tell a story with my facials, with my body language, but it was just the precise way that Sam wanted it to be told. And it really just lets you in kind of on the mindset of the character and stuff that feels completely against nature, but it makes sense for the character. Like in the middle of the fight scene when you're not scowling, but actually grinning. It tells you that he's not, he's not in this heated fight. To him, it's a cat and mouse game and he's having fun, he's enjoying it. So it's just like little subtle things like that.
Speaking of getting advice, when you got this job, The Rock congratulated you. You tweeted him back, "Thanks for everything, thanks for the advice." Yeah. What advice did Rock give you?
We had talked a little bit, beforehand, even when I wanted to go on film, about going into it. And, it's a very hard transition. And you're already under a microscope because people, for one, they label you. But then they also, everybody will look for every excuse, every reason they can to be negative about what you're doing. And you're just another big muscle head trying to be an actor. You just want to be a movie star. But also, and he put it just in the perfect way, because I was really finding it hard. I always thought it was amazing that he was actually able to go from film to wrestling, to film to wrestling, to film to wrestling. And he described it as quicksand. He said, man, especially with the company, because WWE, they're very controlling. They're not the easiest company to deal with. And he was like, it's quicksand, man. He said, don't get caught in the quicksand. You're not trapped here, man. You have to be strong. You have to, stand your ground. And if this is what you want to do, you have to make them know, make it known that this is what you're going to do, and you're not going to deviate from that plan. Not going to be flexible about it. This is what you got to do. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
When I went back for my short stint with the WWE, I said, this is how long I can stay. I can't stay any longer because I've got these other obligations. So he made it work for me. He helped me make it work.
If you could do that stint with WWE over again, would you do anything different?
I don't, know if it would go any different, because it was just butting heads with the company. I just constantly was butting heads with them creatively, which is something we talked about well beforehand, and I was promised things that weren't delivered to me, because I really, for one, I didn't want to go back as a babyface. I said, it's not going to work, man. They don't want to see me as a babyface. They're going to be, nobody wants to see Bautista as a babyface. I'm the worst babyface ever. But I'm a good heel. I know how to be a heel. I'm comfortable with being a heel, and the fans want me to be a heel.
Yeah.
But they tried to shove me down everybody's throats.
And you became Bautista.
It's like, they rebel. They know what you're trying to do. You're being shoved down their throat. They're not idiots, and they don't like it. They don't want it. So it just makes them rebel more, and then it just became a state of confusion where they didn't know what to do with me. So they just sent me out every week regurgitating the same crap. And it was just horrible. And it was after I'd finally been there for a few months, where I finally just started to find my niche. They kind of let me go with what my strengths were.
Yeah.
When people started reacting to me in a good way, in a positive way, but then I had to go. Then I had to go and fulfill my obligations with Marvel, and it just kind of sucked.
If you could do a return on your terms. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can we do one more?
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Dave. If you could do a return on your terms, would you want to go back to WWE?
Oh yeah. At the end of the day, I love WWE. I wouldn't wrestle, and I've proven that I wouldn't wrestle anywhere else. I feel like wrestling anywhere else is a step down. I love the company, and I will always be appreciative for what they've done for me. And I would love to go back. It's just they're really hard to deal with. And also, right now, my passion is acting. I just love it. So I'm pursuing it. But if the opportunity comes up, and they will be a little bit more flexible with me as far as creative, I'd love to. But I'd also, when I said I would do this, and I would do it in a heartbeat without any big, I don't want big money. I don't want a limited schedule. If they would allow me to go back and just do house shows, I'd be all over it.
Really?
All over it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Because then you just skip all the red tape. Then you don't have to deal with the creative, the writers, all that bullshit. You just don't have to deal with it. You just go back and do your thing. And my thing is wrestling. Wrestlers, audience. That's all I want, man. A ring wrestler audience. That's my favorite thing.
Such a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank
I appreciate
you so much.
it. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.